I'm not from a generation where sending cute postcards were commonplace, but last summer I made a video postcard and I thought I'd share with you my approach on creating one of these video postcards. I think of video postcards as moving postcards, a way to just like share where you are, what you're doing, just visual storytelling. And when you think of a postcard, you usually buy it when you're on vacation, so it can be based on a destination, or what I like to do is choose a theme. So last year, the theme was summer, so I wanted to use some shaved ice, watch some fireworks, and I really think about what do you want the person receiving to feel. So I don't think it necessarily has to be travel related. Now for gear, you can definitely use your phone if you want to, but I'll show you the gear I actually use. For the camera, I use my go-to, the Sony a7S III. My lens choice today was this Tamron 35-150 because I wanted to have flexibility of filming wide and tight shots. I also brought a shotgun mic just in case to capture the soundscape. Sometimes this doesn't work if it's windy, but it's always good to have. And lastly, if you have props, food, cameras, sunglasses, hats, those all come in handy when filming in general. And of course, don't forget the tripod. Okay, and lastly, before we go out to film, I just want to share like my rough formula on how I approach filming. So I think of an establishing shot, action shot, insert B-roll shot, and then a wide shot. And I kind of have this in my mind as I'm filming. I will get to the editing portion later, but let me take you out so you get a sense of how I operate in real time when filming this type of video. We're at Kapiolani Park. There's a guy peeing in the background? Oh my god. I'm gonna blur it out. We're gonna walk across that way because there's some nice lighting, and then we'll see what we can get on that side. Okay, yeah, I like that area over there. This is as wide as it gets here, but yeah, there's that blue sign over there that I don't like, so I'm just gonna get a little tighter here. Let's see. I want to include this tree over here, and I love minimal framing, so I'm gonna try to see how tiny we look. Okay, Jack, you're up. You can walk, and I'm gonna tell you where to stand so we can place ourselves for the wide shot. Usually for the wide shot, I like to have some sort of action. I think with any video postcard, you want movement and action within the scene. So the first scene would be maybe to lay down the blanket. Okay. Maybe we'll get a wide shot of us sitting in case I want it. I wonder if that looks stupid.
No, I think that looks good.
We never know. Now that we got our wide shot, I'm gonna try to get a tight shot. So usually for a tight shot, I like to use some sort of prop. This can be like a medium close-up or a close-up shot, and we went to grab food before we came here. So let's see, this is our egg sandwich. Okay, so for the framing, that's a little bright. Nice. I think I'll kind of focus mostly on the food here. So this is like the tight shot here. What I like to do is like a variety of things. So something like opening this up, or maybe it's placing this down. Some sort of action I think helps to bring it to life. I got the wide shot, and then I got this tighter shot, and now the next shot I want like a medium or medium close-up of us eating. So what's good about having like this lens is that you can kind of play around, compared to if you have a prime lens you have to move around a little more. This one you have the flexibility to zoom in, get a tight shot if you want, or zoom out. Maybe I'll try one wide, and then I'll try one medium. So let's do this one first. So I'm gonna focus on him. So the action would be us eating. Because I scooped earlier, I'll probably just get something. And I'm gonna get a little bit tighter. It's sometimes hard to tell how much space I need when I'm not there, but I kind of just eyeball it and check later. And because I focused on Jack, I try to like stay in that same plane, because if I'm too back or forward, I'm probably getting in and out of focus if I'm here. So I try to stay somewhere near him. So I'll just,
Can I eat this?
yeah. Oh wait, I think the lighting changed. That's the thing, lots of clouds coming in and out. Oh, it's so pretty, the view. Okay, nah, it's probably good. What I'm thinking about next is the B-roll that I want to get. Things I'm thinking about is sitting here, you know, maybe some grass, maybe what we're looking at, which is the sky here. And I want people to feel the warmth of the sun, so I'll probably get a tight shot of the leaves and the tree here with the sun. I think with B-roll, it's always good to get more. You always have that option to play around to see what feels better, and you might not know exactly which shot is going to go well with what until you're in the editing room. So overshoot, I think, is a good way to go about it. Okay, I'm gonna start here since I'm already here, and I want to get the sky here. I think I like this framing. I like things more minimal, so I might go for this. And when getting B-roll, I would recommend 7 to 10 seconds. 10 seconds is kind of overkill, but sometimes you want it to linger. I'm gonna get this little light. I think these branches are kind of skinny and sparse, so it's not giving the feeling that I want. I'm liking these guys here, so I'm gonna get real tight. And then maybe one without the branch in case I don't like it. I'm liking this view here, so this might be our establishing shot of Diamond Head, Leahi. I'll do one like this first with more grass. And I'm gonna get a tighter shot here. I don't really like that branch, so I'm gonna move forward. Focus on the mountain here. So we're just gonna get these white yellow flowers here to finish off. Try something like that. Kind of want one that's on the bottom of the frame like that. Do one with the cars and traffic first, and then let's do one without anybody in it. We're just gonna go to one more location, like a lookout place, so you can see how two scenes are kind of stitched together. I think this is a good lookout spot. I like this framing where the two trees are kind of gonna be surrounding us. Gonna move back a little bit to get a little bit more of a wide shot. So I like to walk into the shot so there's some sort of movement. And then we'll just sit here and look out. Now I'm gonna try and see if I can get this reverse shot of us. It's a little bit bright and harsh right now. Maybe I'll do a side angle. Yeah, the lighting isn't so great right now. Keep it a little wider. I don't know, I don't love it. Yeah, I'm not loving that pole there now. 1, 2, 3, it's not focused.
I don't think it's focused.
I don't know about that one. Yeah, it looks much nicer on this side. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm gonna do a tighter one. Okay, I don't know if that's gonna cut well together, so I'm just gonna grab a few B-roll shots. I think that's it for this location, but I'll stitch those together so you can see how it all comes together, and we'll see if it works or not. Okay, now that the filming part is done, let me show you the editing. I'm just gonna give you a few tips. So I use DaVinci Resolve to do everything. I kind of walk through the different shots when filming, so when you're stitching the clips together, just play around with different shots and what feels more seamless. The main thing is using this frame that makes it look like a little postcard. So let me just show you that real quick. I'll leave this in the description box so you can download it for free and you can try it out yourself. I'll have this thin one and I'll also have this thicker one so you can decide which one you want to use. The way I do it is I right click, add alpha output, you click this blue dot here and drag this to this point. And then you have this dropper, and you click here. And then what you do is you invert. So it's on this qualifier tab. You invert, and now you can use this. And sometimes you have to like use this in and out ratio here, or the blur radius if there's any green showing, but you can see like that. So that's a very easy way just to add the frame, to add a little bit of character. And I know I brought the mic out, but I decided to add some sound effects instead because I was talking and I didn't really focus on getting good audio. So I got all these sound effects from Epidemic Sound. The only sound I actually use from the scene is here when I'm closing up these containers, so you can hear it. And if you want, you can add a little bit of music to bring it together. So I chose this very calming, simple song here. And that's it for the editing portion. Pretty easy, straightforward. I think just get the postcard in there, and then I'll have Jack share the coloring process with you.
When I think of summer, I think of warmth, softness, and glow. So I would generally push the colors a little bit warmer. So here's the finished look. I will walk you guys through my process. So let's remove all this. Let's start from the very beginning. I have my timeline set up for DaVinci Resolve Wide Gamut. In here, we'll start with the exposure and contrast and saturation. Darken this image a little bit first, and I'll take down the contrast slightly, and the saturation is okay. And I'll go back to adjust the white balance a tiny bit to give a little bit more warmth. And then, yeah, that's a decent start for our grade. So from there, we can start working on the color grading itself. One of the key things that I think really helps sell the look is halation. So what we can do is start here. You can either type in halation. So what halation does is it adds a glow around the highlights, and it's like a color cast that simulates a vintage lens would do in film. So right now you can kind of see without it and with it, and the effect is very heavy right now. What we can do is go into it and adjust some of the setting. I'll adjust the threshold a little bit to take that back slightly, and take down the strength a bit so it's not as apparent. So it just gives that subtle look to it. And that looks pretty good. So I think another thing I like to do is adding the glow to the image to give the highlights a little bit of softening and kind of that dreamy look. So what we do is we add in the glow, and then I would take the shine filter down. Sorry, the shine threshold down just slightly. So I'm turning it on and off to see how much of the image is being affected by that. So that looks okay to me. And you can play around with all these adjustments to see what you like, and we'll leave it at that. And one last thing, I like to add a blur to the image, because I think modern day cameras can capture very sharp and very detailed images, but it makes things look very digital. So adding a blur will really soften the look. So you have a few blur options in the effects. The one that I like to use is the Gaussian blur. So once you apply it, you can tell that it's doing way too much. So let's go to the adjustment and let's dial it back a little bit. To about 130, 140. So it's very subtle, but it softens the image a bit, so the lines are less in your face. That's where I think I'll park it at. And let's do one more. Let's do a film grain. So here's the film grain that we added. There are different types of film stocks that you can choose from. Is it even called film stocks? I don't know. Lots of options to play with. I like to use the 16mm 250D. That gives a more apparent film grain. And you can make these adjustments to it, texture, grain size, bring up the size a bit, ratio a bit. All right, so that is the basics of creating a look for video postcard.
Here's the final product of the 2 scenes that we shot today. I hope you have fun creating your own video postcard. If you make one, let me know so I can go look at everyone's postcards. And I guess that's it. Happy creating and have fun. Bye!